Hi everybody, welcome back to Brown Bird News. Guess where we are? We are in beautiful New Brunswick, checking out all the seabirds, and we had some fun visitors, birds, at our campsite, so stay tuned. So I'm walking along the New River beach here. It's absolutely spectacular. We're not allowed to bring the dogs on the beach, so my husband is taking care of the kids on the beach while I'm walking and exploring here. And I'm seeing some ducks there that I don't know. So I am going to use my Merlin Bird ID app to identify them. I'll keep you posted. So it looks like we have a bunch of common eiders here, but I'll have to look into my footage later and make sure that they are still very interesting. Well, I'm back in the same bay, but this time I brought my binoculars because I wanted to make sure I got the right bird the other day. So it wasn't actually common eiders that I saw. They were black guillemots. They're very common actually in this area. And if you hear my dog, she's right here because I'm taking her for a walk as well. So don't mind her whining a bit. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Dr. Bird has been campaigning to make the Canada jay, formerly known as the grey jay, Canada's national bird. I actually need to call him to see where things are with that. Anyway, I've been dying to see this bird for years now. Canada jays live basically everywhere in Canada, in some parts of the United States as well. But our little pocket where we are in Quebec, there have been no sightings of them at all. So when we arrived in New Brunswick in our campsite, we filled our dog's bowl because she's been in the car for many hours to feed her. And then all of a sudden these birds showed up and they started helping themselves to the dog food. We actually had to use the Merlin Bird ID app to make sure that we got the right bird. We were so surprised to see a family of Canada jays just emptying our dog's bowl. So anyway, if you live basically anywhere in Canada, Canada jays show up happily at in people's backyards. They love nuts, they eat just about anything, and as you can see, dog food is also very popular, and they're not shy at all. That footage that I took of them, they were literally standing right next to it. So have fun. I hope they'll come and visit your feeders one day.
Occasionally, as an ornithologist, I get asked by media outlets to fact-check possible misinformation circulating on social media. Here's a recent example that you might find interesting. The Reuters fact-check team was working on an article on albatrosses. The so-called fact that I was asked to corroborate was claiming that albatrosses spend the first 6 years of life flying over the ocean before coming to land to mate. I too have read that some albatrosses can fly for years without landing, but it made little sense to me. Here's what I know to be true. Basically, using dynamic soaring where they constantly catch uprising currents off ocean waves and swells, wandering albatrosses with 11-foot wingspans can indeed fly continuously and cover vast stretches of ocean to the tune of close to 1,000 kilometers a day at an average speed of 40 kilometers an hour, for days and weeks on end. Due to our ability to place tracking devices on these birds, one bird was recorded circling Antarctica for a 46-day period and clocking around 16,000 kilometers without landing. But they certainly can't fly for several years without landing in either the water or land. I originally thought that these large birds with their huge wingspans might not be able to land in water to rest, if only because they might find it difficult to take off from the surface. After all, they commonly build their nests on rocky promontories on islands or on mainland where they can catch updrafts from prevailing winds to take off. But albatross experts have confirmed that these birds can and do land on the water to either perform shallow dives to catch squid and other marine invertebrates, and also to rest. So obviously they have no problem lifting off the water surface to take to the air. Anyway, the lesson here is, don't believe everything you read on the internet. Two Australian paleontologists now hold the distinct honor of studying the biggest bird brains in history. And no, they are not the brains of ravens or African grey parrots. The two scientists examined the brain cases of extinct flightless birds in the Dromaeosauridae family, including some of the largest birds that ever existed, and found that they represented some very extreme evolutionary experiments. Around 25 million years ago, a group of gigantic flightless birds inhabited Australia until they went extinct as recently as 50,000 years ago. Other names for these creatures are an Aboriginal-based one known as Mihirung, meaning giant bird, and two local names, demon duck and thunderbird. The largest of this group of flightless birds could grow up to 10 feet tall and weigh around 1,300 pounds. Dromaeosaurus stertoni, the most recent of the four species examined and the second largest known bird to ever have lived, had a weird-shaped head suggesting an equally bizarre brain shape. The two scientists made CT scans of the brain cases from four species of these ancient birds and then created 3D models of them and finally compared them to similar, albeit smaller, modern relatives. This revealed the size and shape of the brains, all of which closely resembled those of the modern chicken. Combined with their large forward-facing eyes and very large bills, it's thought that these big-brain birds fed on soft leaves and fruit.
In the Gediz Delta in Turkey, two sandy islands played a vital role in hatching flamingos until, unfortunately, those islands started to erode and disappeared. In 2012, the Turkish government, alongside other conservation groups, decided to rebuild the islands. Well, they actually rebuilt one big sandy island. They removed all the hard objects and no humans are allowed on that island. Since then, flamingos started to come back to the area to nest, and actually this year in 2021 they hatched about 18,000 chicks. They're being fed salt shrimp and they have the whole area to themselves, so they have no problem learning how to fly. So far the Izmir Bird Sanctuary has been a great success. After several kayakers regularly reported dead ducklings floating around the waterfront in downtown Toronto, the city officials decided to investigate and figure out what was actually happening. Well, they quickly realized that all the docks and causeways there were too high off the water. So the poor ducks, when they were swimming around, they had nowhere to land. So they were forced to swim and swim until they were so exhausted, they basically died from exhaustion. So with the help of several conservation groups, they came up with a solution, the duck docks. These are basically little platforms that they attach to the side walls of the harbor. So when the ducks are too tired, they can just hop on there just a few inches off the water and they can rest or actually sleep there for the nights as well. And that actually has improved the situation significantly. Well, Are You Looking at Me photo contest was very popular and really difficult to judge. Let's check out the top 5. Here's the 3rd place, the 2nd place, and the grand prize winner. Congratulations, everybody. All right, everybody, time to say goodbye. Pina, our dog, is getting hot. She's ready for her swim. She loves swimming in the ocean and for her walk. And our kids are with a grandmother. So take care. I'll catch you in 2 weeks.